right, Pine Belt, thank you for joining me today on this first of a few first alert weather days here in the Pine Belt. Now that involves today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Of course, even though today there's plenty of sunshine, the winter storm's not quite here yet, the brutally cold temperatures are. Of course, I was driving here on my way to the station this morning, and a lot of puddles are already frozen over in a lot of areas, like little areas like ditches and little gullies and even sides of roadways. So you want to make sure to exercise that caution even today ahead of the wintry precipitation we're expecting in the area for tomorrow. So speaking of wintry precipitation, well, let's get started, shall we? We've got a lot of watches and warnings in effect. Those winter weather alerts you can see here, by and large, a lot of counties are now under that winter storm warning. That would be the pink you see behind me. You can see areas along the US 98 corridor primarily, even areas as far north as Wayne County because of the National Weather Service in Mobile. That's kind of their northern cusp there of their county warning area. But you can see where the winter storm warnings are already in effect. Now, as we make our way up closer to the US 84 corridor and northward closer to I-20, you can see that we've got a lot of those winter storm watches still in effect as well. A lot of these will initiate starting at midnight tonight and will extend into early Wednesday, either midnight, 6 a.m., 9 a.m., depending on your location. A lot of them, I believe some of the earlier warnings and watches will expire earlier if you tend to be farther west, and if you tend to be farther east, some of those are the ones that will extend into Wednesday morning, say around 6, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., something in that sort of time frame there. That's all because of not only the location, but of course the difference in National Weather Service office as well. Temperatures quite cold. We're still well below freezing in some locations. You can see Bay Springs at 25, McGee at 27, Seminary also at 27 degrees there. The Hub City at 30 degrees there. And basically everybody, you can see, I don't see anybody at 32 or above. So everybody is below freezing for now, although some folks are struggling to try to reach it. You can see Brooklyn there and New Augusta in Perry County as well. You guys are at 31 degrees. But here's the kicker, right? I was talking about wind chills, and well, the wind is still going to be a factor. We've got that kind of north-northeasterly flow coming through the area, and of course the breezy conditions with it already being cold. Yes, it is sunny, but the wind isn't going to help us a lot because what little heat we get from the sun, the wind is just going to strip right away, right? I mean, it's not going to take long at all. You stand outside and you're already kind of feeling a little numb, you know, and so that's exactly why. The wind chill and the brutally cold temperatures on top of the wind chills, right? If you take a look at the wind chill here, you can see we've got plenty of teens regardless of where you are. So whether you're down in Pearl River County in Poplarville or you're up in Raleigh, we've got plenty of teens here across the board, and that basically means that yes, we are in the mid upper 20s, maybe very low 30s in some areas in terms of ambient air temperature, but those wind chills are making it feel like you're in the teens, maybe the low 20s as we speak. A lot of ice in the puddles, a lot of things are already materializing in terms of the ambient air temperature and the affiliated wind chill, making it colder than it already is. Okay. Now that we're moving from today, we're going to move into tonight and to tomorrow. You can see tonight's lows, a lot of 20s across the board there. Heidelberg, you're at 21 tonight. Richmond at 23. Hub City likewise at 23. Poplarville at 24. And Lucedale at 25 there along the 98, making its way down towards Mobile. Okay, for Tuesday, we're going to struggle to reach freezing or above it if we do at all. You can see here that the high temperatures, a few 33s there, and even then, there's a very good chance that we could stay at or below freezing. That 32 is that magical threshold that we look for freezing temperatures in the area. So a lot of folks could kind of climax at 31 to 32 and then fall back down once again. So even the 33s, I mean, it would be very short-lived if we even see that peak above freezing at all, which means that once some of the snow falls, we have to make sure to keep in mind that roadways may be hazardous because we've got this prolonged freeze. You know, the snow, a lot of times we have a snow where you have temperatures that are either at freezing or maybe slightly above freezing, and it reduces how much the snow sort of sticks around. But the snow, since it is going to be kind of prolonged over a few hours, and we're going to have these temperatures that struggle to get above freezing, that's why we're looking at some of those conditions for the roads potentially being hazardous in areas here on Tuesday. So if you can, stay home if at all possible there as we plan for Tuesday. Let's talk more about Tuesday. You can see that even though our high temperature is right around 32 degrees, maybe 33, it's going to feel a lot colder, okay? You can see that basically as we get up in the morning, you're having your morning coffee, it's going to feel like 16 outside, even though those temperatures for the lows will be in the low 20s here in the area. But we struggle to get out of the teens well after sunrise. Look at that. As late as approximately 11 a.m. to noon, it's still going to feel like it's going to be in the teens here in the Pine Belt. And as we make our way forward, you can see that we peak in the afternoon right around 4 to 5 p.m. there. It's going to feel like 24, even though we'll be at approximately 32 to 33 degrees for the ambient air temperature. That is brutally cold, folks. It really is. You do not want to be outside during this particular event, if at all possible. It is paramount, so that way everybody stays safe. Okay, we're going to run those model runs for you because I know that they're particularly useful in helping gauge this, especially now that we are approaching the point where the snow event is expected for Tuesday. And you can see that flurries may begin to fly here in the area starting right around the 6, 7, 8 a.m. range or so. This is the American model here, and you can see it's painting those heavier totals down by like Sabine Lake, Lake Calcasieu of South Louisiana, whereas the Pine Belt, you can see that we start with lower totals in the area. Those sort of totals stacking up around anywhere from half an inch to approximately 2 inches in areas closer to the coast. But as we make our way farther into the day, though, these are going to be the totals over the course of all of Tuesday. You can see that now we're at Wednesday at midday. The snow is long over. The snow event will be concluding at some point during the afternoon, maybe very early evening on Tuesday. And all things considered, you can see this is our approximate snow totals in the area here. A lot of those heavier totals focused right on the I-10 corridor away from the Pine Belt proper. But regardless, here in the Pine Belt, you can see a lot of those contours where some folks, if you happen to be north of US 84, roughly north of this line, north of US 84, approaching I-20, you may only see half an inch or a dusting, as we like to say as meteorologists there. But all things considered, you can see where the heavier the totals and the darker colors are located in the southern portion of our viewing area. Now, what we're going to do now, I'm going to set into motion the European model for you to help kind of visualize the consensus that we're seeing here. Now, when it comes to the flurries flying, you can see that we already have a fair bit of flakes starting to fall on the ground by this point. Remember, the nice thing, right, with the European and the American now agreeing fairly closely in terms of timing, this is extra confidence that we need to help gauge the situation. So with a lot of that timing starting approximately 6, 7, 8 a.m. or so shortly beforehand, flurries will already be flying across most of the Pine Belt, more likely than not, by 10 a.m. or so. So you can see here a lot of totals, they're going to stack up once again along the I-10 corridor, move their way eastward. This particular model is being slightly more aggressive, and that's very slight compared to the GFS here, but you can see that it tries to paint snow farther inland. Some of the small totals, like half an inch or so, making it north of the I-20 corridor, and that means that all folks here in the Pine Belt are more likely than not, once again, south of US 84, that's south of this line here, primarily going to see 2 to 4 inches of snow or so. All these are approximate, and remember, even now, even with a lot of the agreement in the models, there's still going to be fine-tuning, fine differences as we take a look at all this there. But this is the best idea that we have as we speak. Okay, now that we've talked about what the models are doing, let's talk about the snow totals. You can see here, this is what I was talking about with those snow totals. These are some of the estimates compared to basically our best estimate based off of what all the models are doing and what we think reality will look like. So you can see here that the far northern portions, north of US 84, closer to the I-20 corridor, you guys will be at ½ an inch to an inch. However, the totals once again will be focused US 84 and southward. That includes areas like Waynesboro, Collins, northern Jeff Davis County, and southward, Laurel as well. And southward, a lot of those snowfall totals are focused along the coast once again because of this particular setup. When it comes to snowfall events here in South Mississippi, primarily they come from what's called a Gulf low. And so when you have the Gulf low, that brings all that abundant moisture, and of course that's why you see a lot of heavier totals closer to the coast, relatively speaking, for this particular event. So now that we've got the idea that snow is happening, here's why, okay? You can see that there's no opportunity for the precipitation to melt between the clouds and us here on Earth's surface. So basically what we do here, you can see that there are blue boxes consistent throughout all of the layers here from up above to down below. This particular upper air sampling, let's say, is going to be at Tuesday at 9 a.m. there. You can see at 18,000 feet we are below zero. Something to keep in mind is that there are multiple types of wintry precipitation, that being freezing rain, sleet, snow, things like that. But the reason we are seeing snow and not other types, once again, is because we do not have any sort of melting that's temperatures above 32 degrees, no red portions here. There's no melting between the clouds and us here on the surface of the Pine Belt, or Earth, as I like to say. Okay, so in terms of hazard index, right? Now, it's going to be, this is inclement weather, folks. You know, this is a snowfall event in the Gulf South. This is not something we see every day, and I assure you that, you know, this is going to be something that we have to use extra caution with. Now, you can see that some of the heaviest, most likely issues will be focused roughly on the southern fringes closer to the coast along those I-12 and I-10 corridors there. However, that's still, we're not in the clear here. Yes, we may not be in the heaviest areas that are most likely to get affected with the worst conditions, but regardless, a few inches of snow in South Mississippi is a big deal. This is why we want to make sure that we use extra caution, and if all possible, you try to stay off of those roadways to make sure that you stay safe. Now, when it comes to hazards, this involves the dangerously cold wind chills that we've been talking about. This involves the brutally cold temperatures, but remember, the wind chills are going to be colder than the temperatures themselves. And of course, the roadways, you know, things like, you know, with them being icy, we're going to have temperatures that are below freezing for a prolonged period. It's not common for us to see a snow event here in South Mississippi, but typically those snow events we'll see a lot of times it'll be in the 30s, and a lot of times we'll see brief periods above freezing and all that. But here, we may not see above freezing periods at all. We're going to be in the 20s when snow is falling. And of course, it'll be even colder during the nighttime after the snow concludes. So it is paramount that even after the flurries are done flying and snow is on the ground, there may be things like snow and ice lingering on the ground at least until Wednesday, even after the snow concludes on Tuesday, because of just how cold we are. Yes, the sun will come back out after the flurries go away on Tuesday, but shaded areas, they may see ice and snow on the ground for a while after this event, at least by South Mississippi standards. We want to make sure that we are exercising the utmost caution after the snowstorms conclude on Tuesday. Before we go, remember, with this prolonged period, you can see that we will most likely be in excess of 40 hours below freezing, which once again is extreme by South Mississippi standards. That's going to be from this evening, around dinner time, through lunchtime, on Wednesday. That's the whole reason we have the First Alert weather days in effect for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So, just stay warm, right? Grab your coffee or hot cocoa, do whatever you got to do, right? I know that, I'm a snack kind of guy. I'll, get your favorite snacks and just, enjoy the show. This will be one of those sorts of events where, you make memories, you take pictures, and you just see what's going on. So I wish you the best. Stay safe, stay warm. We will be staying warm here at the station as well. And of course, as more information becomes available, we will keep you guys posted there. Have a great day.